Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode here in NHL 23. So in last episode, we took on the Colorado Avalanche in the second round of the playoffs, and unfortunately we lost the series in 5 games after we had swept the first round against St. Louis. So it was kind of a bummer considering I think this team definitely had it in them to win back-to-back Stanley Cups, but unfortunately just for some reason the game decided, hey, it's not your time to win. It's probably because we were such a good team during the regular season, but you can see we were kind of like heavily relying on like our top 6 for the most part. Some guys pretty much underperformed, like Reiki was not that great. And we weren't getting the type of points from our back like blue line that we were when we won the Stanley Cup, I'm pretty sure. So like Brunstrom and Ovechkin were good. Spiller was Spiller was solid, but like after that, not really much. And also like the defensive play from Spiller was absolutely tragic too. He was a -5 in those 9 games. So yeah, it wasn't that great. Goaltending when Howden came back, he was terrible. Scavella was good at times, but also bad at times as well. So he's a little bit inconsistent. So I'm hoping that we could kind of run it back again and maybe we'll be a good team again next year, because obviously most of these players on our team currently are signed into next season. The only big ones that are up for renewal are McDavid, Nazar, and I believe also Slotty. So McDavid likely comes back. Same with Slotty. I don't think Nazar is going to be coming back this offseason though, because I don't think he's needed, and we also have guys in the system that definitely need to get a chance to play in the NHL, like Weeks, for example. So I think we won't be bringing back Nazar in this episode, but we will be bringing back McDavid as long as we could afford him with the cap space we have left, because I honestly don't know how much cap we have going into this offseason. So should be an interesting episode nonetheless. And yeah, I'm very excited for next season again, just because of our top line. Obviously, Asher Vance has been insane the last few years. Hoping that he could one day have maybe a 70-goal season, because he did have 65 last season. So who knows what's in store for him in 2037. So anyways, before we get into the draft and re-sign stage, I do have 2 comments to go over. So the first one is from Pens Gaming 7. He says, tough playoffs, but definitely run it back. And then I also have one from Saturn Otaku who says, even in the simulation, Columbus gets screwed at the draft. So I guess I don't remember exactly the draft lottery results, but I guess they fell back in terms of the draft lottery. So that's a little bit interesting, kind of similar to in real life. But yeah, in regards to Penn's comment, running it back is pretty much the best course of action for this team. Because as you can see at the moment, we go to players up for renewal. Basically, McDavid's the big one, like I was saying. Nazar, we're probably letting go of. Slotty should be cheap. Little, I don't really know about Little. Little might come back as a depth option. But then you have guys like Hart who aren't important. All these RFAs should be pretty easy to get back. I believe Ovechkin only has 1 year left. Yeah, he only has 1 year left before he becomes a UFA. So I don't know how long he's going to be with this team based on this, but who knows? Maybe we'll bring him back for a good long-term deal. Also, Ninamaki is RFA as well, and he's also close to being ending up a UFA. Yeah. So that's interesting. All these guys want a decent amount of money. For some reason, 3 years seems like the sweet spot for Ninamaki, but we're not going to be giving any contracts just yet. But I wouldn't mind locking up Ninamaki. I don't know about Ovechkin, on the other hand. We do have defensemen in the system, but locking these guys up isn't really that bad, because if they're relatively cheap, we still should be able to flip them away. Brigley is somebody, obviously, I would like to keep around as well for our 4th line. He's been pretty solid. He, I believe, has 1 year left also as RFA status. Yeah. So eventually, it's going to start getting a little bit expensive, but we can eventually flip away contracts. And like I said, I think our salary cap structure is actually really good. The most we're paying a player is Asher Vance, obviously, at over $11 million next season. Everybody else is like $10 million. There's two $10 million men, and then everybody else is below $6 million. So I think we are structuring this team quite well at the moment. Howden's also a big RFA at the moment. He's going to be wanting a lot of money, coming off a great season. So hopefully he's not too expensive. But there's that. Let's get into this draft and see what we can find, because I honestly don't remember this draft class at all either. And I don't even remember what picks we have. So let's see what we got for picks first. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have one for every single round. Well, that's great. So we didn't even trade away our first round pick this year. But we have like a very strong team built in terms of everything. Like goaltending, strength and everything. Defense, strengthen everything except for top prospects and stuff. So maybe we go for more defensive prospects. Yeah, I think that's the best course of action is to draft some defensemen this year. Because look at the forward strength. It's all strengths. It's just the defensive depth and prospect depth isn't that great. So, yeah, I think defenseman is what we need to prioritize, which means I don't know if we take the Tervanen guy. We might take the Kachuk guy since we need defense. Also, there's Odie Marchessault guy that's not supposed to go for quite some time still. So, yeah, let's see what we can find for defensemen. So, the Islanders have first, followed by Vegas. Columbus must have fallen from 1 to 3 in this. Then there's Florida at 4 and Edmonton at 5. We're at number 28. So let's take a look at this top 5. The Islanders want to trade the top pick, but obviously we're not going to try and trade for the top pick because that's kind of pointless. I don't even remember who's the top pick. Lubomir Kolnick. Interesting. Yeah, it's not really worth moving up in the draft, and I don't think I want to ever move up in the draft in the series unless it's something we actually have to do. So let's see what the Islanders take at number 1. Will they take Kolnick? Yes, they will. 82 overall sniper. Pretty good. Yeah, that shooting category is actually really nuts. 92s across the board. Sometimes you see like 90s across the board, but 92 is really good. Off the rush, skilled up, make it snappy, and beauty backhand. Not a lot of X factors for this guy, but yeah, he's going to be a great player. He's only 17 as well, so there's a good pick there for the Islanders. Vegas at 2 is going to take Nicholson, who's a 75 medium elite grinder. What the heck? That's interesting. I don't know if that guy should have went in the top 5 of this year's draft. Maybe, was he projected to go that high? I don't even know. Because if he was, this draft class might be really bad. He has a 75 going second overall. That's not even an NHL-ready player. He is going to get to play in their AHL team right away, but I don't think he's going to make their NHL team right out of the gate. But who knows? That's kind of a weird pick, though. A grinder at number 2. No contest, relentless, truculence, shrug it off, back at you, damn. This guy's going to be quite the physical specimen. More than likely, being a medium elite grinder, he's going to be up there in fights and like penalty minutes and stuff like that year in and year out. So looking forward to seeing that once he actually starts playing. Columbus at 3 takes a 63 high top 4. Yeah, this draft class is terrible. There's no way these type of players should be going in the top 5. It should be all medium elites in the top 5 usually. This might be one of the worst classes I've seen. Graham Snyder, high top 4 offensive defenseman. Yeah, this might be one of the worst classes we've seen. Maybe there'll be random steals here and there, but the top 5 looking really sketchy. Like, look, there's a high top 6 that goes 4th overall in Zachary Reisner. So only 2 elite players in this top 5, it's looking like. These other guys have the chance to turn into elite players, but I don't think they will. Wow. And then there's a medium elite 82. Okay, so Edmonton does get the second best player, or the tied for the best player in the draft at number 5, because for some reason Vegas goes for a grinder, and then 2 high players go, and then Dundas goes at number 5. That might be an absolute steal there for Edmonton. It's good they don't have McDavid anymore, because this guy would turn out into an absolute animal, and glad we have McDavid instead. So there is that. Let me actually take a look at the rest of the top 10 too, just to see how it is. Yeah, why didn't those teams that take high top 4s and high top 6s take like these type of guys? These guys are all medium elite, but they're all going outside of the top 5 now. Okay, now it drops off to Pan. Maximus Pan, what a name. Let's into our pick and see what we're getting at. Let's actually take a look at the picks before our pick. A lot of top 9s going, some top 4 defensemen, that's just good, top 6 forwards. Okay, maybe it's not as weak of a class as I thought, but still, when wow, that's a great pick for number 11, an NHL ready pick at number 11 for the Winnipeg Jets. I don't know why the AI took the high top 6 and the high top 4 defensemen that early. Yeah, that's a massive steal for the Jets. They're at 11, or not at 11, yeah, at number 11. What could we get at 28 here? Yeah, it's probably going to be a bunch of top 9s or maybe a top 4 defenseman. Can't tell with Reese Jacobs. I feel like he's going to be a top 6 defenseman. So I'd rather go for the sure thing, which we are looking at the lowly DFD in Taylor Tkachuk. Yeah, I think he's got to be the pick here. We need defensive prospects. He's not going to be that great out of the draft, but he's 3 years out. And like I said, we need draft defensive prospects because if we lose somebody like Ovechkin or Ninamaki, we need that fail safe in a sense. So Taylor Tkachuk, welcome aboard. And he's a 63 overall. That's pretty good. And he does have X factors. I like it. He might be a solid replacement for Ovechkin sometime. Yeah, pure DFD pretty much, but he's got a really good slap shot, good wrist shot. His accuracy is not terrible, actually. His offensive awareness is pretty low, though, so he shouldn't do much offensively, but he's got Ice Pack as his zone ability. His superstar abilities are Stick 'em Up, In Reverse, Quick Pick, and Bouncer, so yeah, that's a good pick there. He's also a right D, though, that shoots left, which is really weird, so that's an interesting scenario. Let's take a look at the picks that go afterwards. Beach was also a low elite and 1 point better, but I didn't know about Jason Beach. Son of a beach. That's interesting. Montreal took a medium top 9, and Walsh. Yeah, see, Jacobs is a top 60. I'm glad I didn't take him at least. So we made the right pick. Let's him to our next pick at number 60. I don't really care too much about a lot of the prospects, but I think we need to prioritize defense. There is a guaranteed medium elite left winger, though, and he's listed as a gem, so I can't pass up on that. I cannot pass up on that. 4 years out, too, and he's 19. Supposed to be like Henrik Zetterberg. Let's take him. Getting a guaranteed medium elite forward, I'll take it any day. 60 overall. Maybe he's the future Recchi. Yeah, he might be the future Recchi. Who knows? He's got solid stats all around. Like, his shooting category is pretty balanced. His passing and stuff a little bit low, but if he develops into being that medium elite player, that will be a solid player for probably like the second line maybe in the future. Maybe a top line or two, actually, for that matter. Depends if we want to use Asher Vance always as a left winger. Let's him to 92 now and see what we can get at 92. Oh, there's the Audi Marchessault guy. Yeah, I think we'll go with him. He's 3-bar low elite, so he isn't confirmed. But if he is a low elite, that'd be great. I don't feel like he is going to be, but there's also a guy that's 3-bar medium elite, but we don't know that for sure. He's 17. I feel like that's going to be a worse pick. I feel like he's going to randomly just end up being like a top 6 demon like these guys. I feel like this guy might be as well, though. So let's just take Gilbert Audi Marchessault and see how good he is. He's a low top 4. Not great, but at least it adds more defensive prospects for our future. I have seen low top 4s pan out before, so hopefully he's one of those that make it. Let's take our next pick here in the 4th round. There's a guaranteed medium top 4. He is 19 though at this point, and he's probably going to be a low overall, but might as well take him anyways because like I said, we just need to build up that defensive prospect pool a little bit. So Gabriel Weber, welcome aboard. 58 overall at 19 is not great, but yeah, he still might end up being something at the NHL level at some stage, or a top AHL defenseman at least. So that at least gives us a little bit more depth on the blue line. Guaranteed low top 9 power forward, Don Legace, or Legacy, I guess it would be pronounced as. Is there any guaranteed low elites? There is one that we have still that's not supposed to go actually till next round. So hypothetically, I could get this guy next round. I'm going to take him already just to play it safe. So a low elite two-way forward that's also a left winger. So we're building up our forward core even more so. But there's another low elite to add to the bunch of low elites we have. We've drafted so well in this series, it's actually kind of insane. Yeah, this guy's going to be a bit of a project, but still. Hopefully he develops into being at least like a 4th line option. 6th round pick now. Guaranteed bottom 6 forwards. There is a goaltender in Duchesne. We could always take another goalie in case. Because we need to find a goalie that can simulate well in the playoffs consistently. So, yeah, I'm going to take a shot with Jacques Duchesne. Might as well add one goaltender. 48 overall medium backup. Yeah, that guy's not going to make it. Low overall like that and not a great potential. He might end up being a good AHL goalie at some point, but I don't think he's going to be an NHL goaltender. And then our last pick at number 220. Can we find a crazy steal here? Let's see if we find any random low elites that are not even confirmed yet. There is 2 guys that might be there. Stu Engel might be a good shooter. And Logan Kang, who's 19 already. 5 years out, though. There's a guaranteed low top 4 offensive defenseman. That might not be a bad option, to be honest. Now, the only problem is he's 19 as well. 3-bar medium starter, that's 19. 5 years out. I don't really need so much goaltending prospects, though. This is going to be a tough one to figure out if there is actually any steals here, because there might be. Pandolfo, 5 years out at 17. And Troy Powell, 5 years out at 19. None of these guys are supposed to even get drafted. I think I'm going to go with the 17-year-old that's 5 years out. Because if he's 5 years out and he's 17, he would probably make it before most of these other guys. So yeah, I'm going to take a chance with Daryl Pandolfo here. He might be just like a bottom 6-4, but we'll take him anyways. Yeah, he's a bottom 6. 49 overall as well. So yeah, he probably shouldn't have got drafted, but oh well. Welcome to the Chicago Blackhawks. You're probably not going to get signed, but there you go. There is our draft. I think a pretty good draft, all things considered. We got Tkachuk, who's the low elite defenseman. We got Gustafsson, the medium elite forward, which is awesome. We got a couple other defenders like Odie Marchessault and Weber, who's also medium top 4. And we also got Laxo, who's also low elite, and the other picks are not so great. But yeah, solid draft for us, I'd say, here in 2036. Now comes the resign stage. How much money do we have to spend? Let's try and bring back our coaches that we might end up losing. So, HL or NHL assistant? Yeah, NHL assistant. That's what you are. Okay. Had to make sure you weren't like an associate or something like that. Don't want to try and offer you a job that isn't freed up. So we'll do that. And Beckett will still be the AHL head coach because he's been a pretty solid AHL head coach, I think. He is probably getting close to retirement age, though. There we go. Okay, so those coaches should accept hypothetically. And now we got to get to this re-sign stage here. So we have $35 million in cap space. That's actually a lot of money, considering who we have to bring back. Let's start with McDavid. 1 year at 10.325. You're going to get it, man. You're going to get it. I'm just going to give it to him. He deserves it. And like I said, we're probably letting go of Nazar. So we will have the cap space for that. So McDavid should sign with that. Frank Nazar, like I said, he's gone. He doesn't really want too much money, but he is going to be getting replaced by some younger guys, so he's gone likely. Package Slotty, 1 year at 3.5. You know what? That's a good deal for me. I need to keep him around to keep my depth scoring up. Little's actually relatively cheap as a depth forward, so we'll see if he accepts 1.3. I think a lot of these other guys are probably going to be let go of, though. Ooh, Martins is getting good. I like it. Love to see it when a prospect's up to a 76 at 20 as a low elite. We'll get to that in a second. Tukio probably wants a two-way deal. Yeah, he does. Good. We'll sign you up, and we have Huey as well. Okay. RFA-wise. Yeah, Howden's the big RFA. That's not really too bad, considering he just won a Vezina, right? I'll get to the RFAs in a sec. Let's actually go to the bottom of the UFA list. Okay, so VJ, you're not going to make it. Sorry, man. Same with Olofsson, you're not going to make it. Leonardo Knights, he's got the low elite potential. He's an offensive defenseman, so I'm going to sign him. There's also Gustavo Brown, what's his name? Yeah, Gustavo Brown. We drafted this guy second round. You're going to get signed since you have top 6 potential. And that means also Zubers is going to get signed. Yeah, we're going to have to let go of some of the guys in the AHL, but that's no big problem. Martins as well. We probably will let go of Skirbic and Schultz, or at least one of them. I'll probably let go of Skirbic because he's 28. Yeah, Skirbic's gone. And we'll try and maybe hold on to Shorts just as a depth option in the AHL. Kagerodov. Oh, wait, I didn't even realize Donald Little dropped down to a 76. Oops. Well, we might have to trade away Donald Little in the next episode, unless he rejects that offer. I didn't realize he dropped off that much when I offered him that contract. I thought he was a 79. Kagerodov wants a two-way deal. I should probably keep some of the good AHL players, so at least they're still competitive. Yeah, like Brunstrom, you could stay. Nighty, you could stay. I think I might let go of Kagerodov, though. How good has Kagerodov been in the AHL? His points are dropping. He's been there a long time, but that passing's pretty good, but I don't know. I'll offer him a contract, and if he accepts it, so be it. But yeah, we need to surround our young prospects with some good players, so I guess it makes sense to keep on to a couple of those guys. Guys like Jenks and Hart, I think they're definitely gone. Hart wants a two-way deal, so maybe I actually bring him back just to play it safe. Give us an extra depth forward. He hasn't really played that much over the last few years, but he doesn't really want too much money either. He's only played 13 career games now at this point. Played a few in the playoffs as well. He's not that bad. He's not that bad. Let's do a 1-year two-way deal. If he wants a two-way deal, I mean, at least it's not like it's going to break our bank. Jenks, who we brought in as a depth defenseman, wants a one-way deal. He's gone and be gone, I think, because I could find a new depth defenseman easily. So best of luck, Jenks, in free agency. And then let's advance the days just so I can get all these contracts that I just offered out of the way. Just because or else it'll be too much. Let's just get through this fast. I think there might be some rejects in there. McDavid rejected. Okay. Was not expecting that. Okay. I guess Connor will give you more money. We'll give him $11 million, so he's on par with Vance. I don't know why he rejected, considering we won a Stanley Cup a few years ago. And he has a chance to win another one here. Package Lottie also rejected, but we'll give him $4 million. I don't really care. We need to keep on to some of the depth. But I guess Hart and Lil are going to be gone. Because Lil rejected. Hart also rejected that two-way deal. I'm going to give him a max two-way deal and see if he'll accept that. But yeah, I think Don Lil's here time is done, just like Frank Nazar's. And then we have these RFAs to sort out. Lane Weeks, he wants a two-way deal still, but he might be in the NHL to replace Frank Nazar this year, so that might be a great deal. Niittymaki, he's only got 1 year left of being an RFA. You talk him up to a few years, he's eventually going to get super pricey. I don't want to pay him too long term. 1 year I think is too little for him. I feel like a 3-year deal is right at the sweet spot. But I want to make sure I can get all these other guys first too. Wow, Burgley's actually really cheap. Let's try the 85% trick on these guys. Let me grab my phone here and do some 85% tricks and see if we're able to get some of these guys on cheaper contracts than they're asking for. Because it would be great to continue our great salary cap work that we've done in this series. So 2.050 or whatever you want to say times 8.85. I think I might be able to get him below 2 for 2 years, which for a fourth line center, that's perfect. So 2 years at 1750. We'll see if he accepts that. Ovechkin, what is he wanting for like 3 years? Like these contracts are all movable. So what if we have everybody signed and stuff like that for multiple years? We're going to be able to trade away some of these guys pretty easily, I'd say, because they'll have the value. They'll be decent enough players wise. I think we'll be able to do that. So let's do with 3-year deals for most of these guys. And then if we have to flip them, we have to flip them basically. Because I think we're going to be able to continue being a competitive team. Obviously, we could make changes throughout these years, but 3-year deal maybe at 487 if I could do that. I don't remember. Yeah, we should be able to get him for something like that. And then we'll do also a 3-year deal for Niittymaki. Niittymaki, I don't know why he's expensive. Maybe it's because he's an OFD. But we'll also try the 85% trick with him. 5.55, damn. So we should be able to get him for like this much. Yep. That's good. Let me make sure I can get McDavid first, because McDavid actually already offered a contract. Let's advance today and see if we get these guys on those contracts. Let's go through this fast. Okay, so Ovechkin and Niittymaki and Burgley all rejected those RFA contracts. We got 22 million, so we'll try and still work a little bit on the 85%. Maybe give them a little bit more than the 85%. Just because I want them to accept, but I want them to be signed for a couple of years at least, so we have at least an option to potentially trade them away and not just let them go to free agency, you know. So 3 years, we'll try 4.925 for Ovechkin. That's a solid contract for a high top 4, I'd say, or a high top 6 in a sense. Burgley will try and get you back again, 2-year deal. We'll give you just $2 million I think that's a good deal. And then we'll go to 3 years here on Niittymaki. I don't know why, like I said, he's so expensive. I think it's because he's an OFD. That's probably the reasoning. But we're probably not going to need to sign anything free agent-wise, or we might not even have the money to sign a lot of players free agency-wise. Let's go with like 5.75 for Niittymaki. And then let me try Howden for a 3-year deal as well. He wants 6.2. We'll try 0.85. So maybe something like 5.4. That's decent money for a starting goaltender. And then, yeah, Nazar's gone. Hart, we could try and get him a max two-way deal for 1 year. Because, I mean, two-way doesn't affect our cap that much, right? So, we'll see that. And then, yeah, I think Donald Little might be gone here. He doesn't really want too much, so maybe I'll try and bring him back still. But Nazar, I think, is definitely gone here. Let me just go through this quickly. Did all the RFAs reject again? They did, except for one of them. Oh, come on, boys. 3 years, that's 6. Or else I'm going to have to end up qualifying these guys. I just want to make sure I have them locked up. I don't know why they're rejecting. Let's do 3 years at 5.4. I'm okay with giving these guys a decent amount of money. Some of them have earned it, so let's go down to $6 million for Niittymaki. And yeah, that's going to be pretty expensive. Let's advance. They all accepted. Perfect. We're down to $7 million in cap space with everybody signed for more than a year, I think, on this team. And yeah, I think Hart and Little are all gone. Nazar's definitely gone. So let's actually do our due diligence and say goodbye to these 3 guys. We'll have enough money to sign some depth pieces, but everybody's pretty much locked up going into next season and the season afterwards, I think. So Donald Little, when did we draft this guy again? First round. I didn't even remember it was a first round pick. Damn. He's been a solid player for us, but we haven't really had the use for him the last few years. So hopefully he gets a contract in place somewhere and actually produces. So best of luck there, Donald Little. And then Demetrius Hart, we brought in from the New York Rangers in that trade, I believe, for when we were making that trade for, like, who was it? Lafreniere? I think he was one of the pieces that came in. I can't remember for sure. But, yeah, best of luck to him in free agency. Maybe he'll still be there at the start of next season. And then Frank Nazar, this is the big one. Obviously, Frank has been a key contributor on our top 6 the last few years, but he needs to get replaced because money issues, and he's definitely going to be on the decline soon. He was a big contributor in our Stanley Cup wins, so it does suck to let go of Frank Nazar, but I think losing him is okay. Like I said, we have the prospects in the system. Like Weeks is going to get a chance this year, and we could get somebody else into the top 6 that maybe has a better chance and is younger. So best of luck in free agency there, Frank. We'll see if he ends up biting us in the ass in the offseason. But yeah, everybody should be signed in for multiple years on this team now. Like, the only pending UFAs next year are, let's see, who do we got for pending UFAs next year? McDavid, Slotty, and I think, oh, Spiller is a pending RFA. That's going to be a little bit of an expensive one. Yeah, we don't really have a lot of roster players that are under that need to be re-signed next year. The only ones are pretty much Spiller, McDavid, and Slotty. And Slotty is an easy replaceable player. We did just draft a couple good left wingers, so yeah, that's not bad. That is not bad at all. Let's advance over to free agency, and we'll take a look at what's available free agency-wise. I don't know why our assistant coach decided not to sign, so we might need to find ourselves a new assistant coach as well, which I might already do that in this episode, even though we're running a little bit long. But let's first... Actually, yeah, let's go already get an assistant coach, get that done with, or try and bring back the same assistant coach. I don't know why he didn't accept. It's kind of weird, because I did offer him more money. I thought he said he accepted. Oh, he wants to be a head coach. We'll try and bring him back in as an assistant, because we definitely need to have a good coaching staff on this team to be a competitive team. We'll give him 3.5, because why not? There we go. Perfect. He should hopefully accept that unless he gets a head coaching offer from some other team. So there is the coaching stuff. Let's go over to the free agency pool and see what is available. Not that we have a lot of money to spend, but I don't think we're going to need to spend any money anyways. We're pretty much just running back the exact same team. In terms of centers that are available free agency wise, the best one is this Barnett guy who's an RFA currently. Let's go to UFAs then. Nico Hischier is the best center. Frank Nazar obviously back in there. We don't really need to bring in any players like this. Like I said, I think our team is already pretty much set in stone for next year. So if you guys see anything though that would be useful to bring in, let me know. Like on a depth option purposes. But I honestly don't think we need really that much. If we're going to, like, we probably could find a new depth defenseman because we did let go of our current one. So maybe that's one thing we need to bring in. But other than that, I don't think there's really much else. Maybe also a random depth forward that's relatively cheap, like these two guys. They're both 78 overall. And they're both relatively young. They don't really want that much money. We could afford both of them. There is Ali Coburn. It looks really good. If he gets a chance to play on a top 6 role, he'd be really good. Yeah, he's had some really good AHL seasons. Hasn't really done anything in the NHL level, but still. There's him, and then there's also Curtis Wood, who's only 24, coming off a 20-point season. Yeah, he's not a huge point producer, but he might have won a Stanley Cup actually just last season in Anaheim. Yeah, he did. So the two of those guys would be great depth options because they'd only cost us a total of like 3.1. We'd be down to $4 million to basically get ourselves a depth defenseman, and that's basically all we'd need. So yeah, those two players might not be that bad, and one of them might be in the lineup if for some reason Weeks isn't ready to take that leap yet, but I think he is going to be. Yeah, I think those two might be the options I end up going with, unless you guys think there's something else out there that we should bring in. But like I said, we don't have a whole lot of cap space, and we're pretty much just trying to run this team back again, because I think this team definitely has it in them to get out of the second round next year. We'll definitely be a competitive team, but it's all about finding a way to win. See, like Don Lill is a 79, so we could have brought him back, and we can afford him to bring him back, but I don't know if it's really necessary. It's up to you guys if we should bring him back instead. This guy only wants 950K. This Bureau guy. How good is he NHL wise? Has never played an NHL game yet, but he's been solid in the AHL. Yeah, there's some good depth options out there, which is great because that's exactly what this team kind of needs, is just a couple depth pieces in terms of free agent signings. So there is all the forwards. Defensively, any good depth defenders out there that we could bring in? Let's see. Looking for somebody with a depth defensive role, not a top 6 role, because they're going to complain about ice time. And we don't want that, obviously. Let's see. There we go. 77s are considered depth defenders now. So there's Kartinen, who's 28. Might be solid. So Kartinen. There's Hawkeye, who's only 27. Milan Hawk. He is actually pretty good defensively, too. But for some reason, he's listed as a top 6. There's also Altschuler, who's only 26. Good shot blocking and stick checking, but the defensive awareness isn't great. But yeah, there's definitely some depth defender options out there, which is great. And goalie wise, I don't think we need anybody, but former goaltender of us, Easton Donald, has head to free agency after 1 year in Philly. So that's funny. He wants a 7-year deal again. We don't really need goaltenders, but I'll still scroll through this anyways. Former goaltender Scott Ratzlaff is there as well. So there is the goalie options. Let's go to the trading block as well, just in case we want to pull off some trades, but I don't think there's even a need for making trades either, because I don't know who I'd trade away. But I think our team is pretty much ready to go already, almost at the stage. This guy is an RFA that's not signed. It's a goaltender. We don't need it. If it was a forward, I might be interested in it, but Cale Makar is still there, but 2 years left at 8.9 for an 82 is not great. I'm excited for next season. I think it's going to be a really good year for this team. Isaac Rosen. I think we're going to have another President's Trophy winning season potentially, but are we going to win a Stanley Cup is the question. I really hope we do win another Stanley Cup because I want to turn this team into a dynasty, and I think I've set it up perfectly in terms of contract work. Movable contracts if we get into trouble, salary cap-wise. Should be interesting. Damn, School is on the block. That's actually a big surprise. He is actually already 30 years old, but this guy has been a great player for the Philadelphia Flyers. He had 116 points a few years ago. Yeah, this guy's a really good player. He's over a point per game in his career. I don't know why he's on the block. That contract is actually a little bit high. Maybe that's why, because he is getting paid, I think, a little bit less than Asher Vance. But, wow, wouldn't he be a great piece to add to this team? But I don't have the cap space. I'd have to get rid of some people on our bottom six and stuff, and he'd probably take over that second line spot where Nazar was. And then Lane Weeks would get the plays, so there is definitely options we could do, but are they necessary is the real thing. There's actually a lot of good players on the block, including our former defenseman in Datsu, who's now getting paid over $8 million by the Blues. Yeah, there's actually a lot more players on the block than I thought at this time around. So there is all the trading block, and final thing I wanted to do. Let me actually take a look kind of at what we think our lines are going to be looking like next season. So at the moment we have 3, 6. We have 9. We have 10, 11, 12. Yeah, we technically need the 2 depth forwards, so I say we probably bring in those 2 depth forwards we were looking at, those 278s. So 2 depth forwards is what we actually need, so you guys can know exactly what we need. And then we need 1 depth defenseman. So we basically need 3 depth players, and then that's pretty much all we need. That is pretty much all we need, because in the system-wise, Adamski's not ready yet, and the rest of these guys aren't ready yet. So, yeah, there's that. Actually, let me sort this for a second. Oh, that's exactly what I wanted to see. Look at all the good prospects in our system. Medium elite, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, 10 low elite players in our system. A lot of them are unsigned too at the moment. Man, we are kind of going a little bit ham on terms of the draft prospects, but holy, we didn't actually even sign any of our unsigned guys yet. I could sign these guys if you think as well. So guys, let me know what you think for next episode, if we should sign any of these guys for the AHL yet. But we are building up an insane prospect pool, and yeah, I'm really hoping that a lot of these guys get a chance to play with us. That could be really great. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll take it to free agency. We will probably sign just some depth pieces for this team, and yeah, then we'll see what this team is looking like at the start of the season. We'll probably sim halfway through the year, and yeah, hopefully we're in contention to maybe win a President's Trophy. If not, hopefully we're in contention at least to win a Stanley Cup come like June or something like that. So anyways, think that below, and I'll see you guys next time.